It's time for the View in Your Mirror podcast. I'm Katie Harms, and along with Lisa Rubin, we help you check in and curate the best possible you and the best view in your mirror. We share tips, tricks, and strategies from our 35 plus years in our respective industries. We talk about your day from morning to night and everything in between. We share our uniqueness, relish in our shared experiences. Along the way, we share conversation with fabulous people who give us their own thought-provoking insights. So come along as we help you hone the best view in your mirror.
Lisa.
Good morning, Katie.
Exciting news. Wayzata is open and Washington Square is too. So Rustica Bakery, our presenting sponsor, has now got 4 locations where you can absolutely enjoy delectable goodies, the most amazing coffee and teas, and a great atmosphere. Minneapolis, B'dai-Makaska, Edina, Southdale Center, Washington Square at 100 Washington Avenue, and now Wayzata, 795 Lake Street in Wayzata. Rustica Bakery, rusticabakery.com. You said something interesting, I guess I never thought about it, is we don't do a lot of prep.
Yes, we don't. Sometimes I do.
You do.
Privately and quietly. Yes. Sometimes I bring my notes. Sometimes you say, Lisa, what are you doing? And then there's times that we've completely prepped because I couldn't not prep with certain guests. And so, but generally, no, we don't do a lot of prep.
Well, Together, exactly. And we'll do our research a little bit, but
a lot of it.
And thus we're showing the differences between Lisa and Katie and how we approach things. Well, we have, I talk about this all the time. I love connections. I love meeting people. And our guest we have today is Robin Livingston Richter, who I met through her husband, Sam, who is a world-renowned speaker. And Robin is a therapist. And I thought it'd be fun to have her on. But when Robin and I have been getting to know each other a little bit, we've been talking about moms. Moms have resonated with us. So you brought up the idea, well, let's talk about our lessons from our moms, but let's bring it into grandmoms. And let's also bring it into what we're trying to impart as grandmoms.
Yes. I think all of that encompasses, like, are we trying to be the grandmothers that the role models maybe we had when we were younger? Like, I was extremely close to my grandmother on my mom's side. Like, she was my everything. And so do I just subconsciously try to be her when I'm with my grandchildren? And I don't know the answer to that, but I find myself sometimes saying and doing the same things she did, the funny ones. Like, my granddaughter's only 4, so she doesn't realize how funny it might be that I just answered her in a certain way. But then I think, oh my God, I called her Bubby Ada. So, like, that came right out of me like Bubby Ada.
Ah, I love that. I think back, I did not have I don't have a lot of memories of my grandmother on my mom's side being well. She had dementia. So that's what I remember. I remember the sweetness. We'd try to get away with having multiple bowls of ice cream when we got there because she'd forget that she offered us bowls of ice cream. So, as kids, you're always trying to get one over on them. My dad's mom died when I was fairly young.
Oh, okay.
I was probably 10 or 11. So I don't have a lot of I remember her being loving, but different. My parents would talk about how stern she was as a person, and I don't remember that about her. I remember her being fun. So, and maybe it's from pictures that I have, but what would you give to bring your grandmothers around to see, could they even fathom the coffee shops with the pastries that we have now? Could you imagine sitting at Rustica Bakery with your grandmother?
I knew you'd bring that one in, Katie. My grandmother, yes.
Well, and your grandmother...
Because my grandmother was so beyond her years, and she had quite the history of her life. We're not going to get into that because that would be 3 podcasts. But she always adapted. And so she lived in Hawaii for 30 years. And the one piece of advice she always told me since I was a little girl is, you better make sure that you make friends that are a lot younger than you, because that will keep you younger. Now, that was from the time I was 10. And I'm like, Grandma, like what? But I so get that now.
Yeah.
And
I think both directions.
She always had friends much younger than her. Now, she didn't always remember their names. But she'd say, "Oh, honey, this is my very dear friend. I'm sorry, what was your name again?" Like, it was, but the people on the other end did not find that disrespectful because she gave them so much.
Yeah.
But she'd meet people on the beach. Like, she lived in Honolulu at Hilton Hawaiian Village. Like, she'd walk the beach and meet new people, kind of like you, Katie.
I probably met her. You know who really I learned so much from is Dana's grandmother. Lived till she was 104 3/4.
Oh my gosh.
And probably spent all but the last 3 months living on her own. And she lived in an apartment, not an assisted living, and where she would take care of the old people, like the 70 and 80-year-olds. She'd cook and bake for them, and she was something else. We'd take her to a restaurant. She just loved life. We'd take her to a restaurant, and she'd walk up to people and say, "I'm 103. Start a conversation. I mean, I guess when you get to that point, you get to do that. But she was just delightful.
Yeah. No, see, you did have someone you learned from.
Yeah, I definitely did. I learned that you live every day.
Yeah.
You live every day.
Yes.
And I would say my mom, and there's my mom, and then there's my mom.
There's a lot of moms. You do have a lot of moms.
Being an adopted person, but my mom who raised me, who is my mom in every sense of the word, was a quiet, strong person. There's a lot of things that you say that remind me of my mom.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. I think I had the right mom. When I look at, I was a handful. Let's put it that way.
I can't imagine
I know,
Katie.
Right?
I just can't imagine that.
So the lessons from my mom, as much as I don't know that I ever learned patience from my mom, but she sure worked on it.
Yeah. I mean, my work ethic came from my mom.
Yeah. I think
my mom was a very, very, very hard worker. She didn't retire until she was 81.
That's amazing. I know your mom is something else.
Yeah.
Your mom is something else. Well, we are very fortunate to have strong women in our lives, and I think that's what we aim to be, having daughters, right? And I tell you what, the energy of sons is totally different. And I didn't get it, right? I have 3 daughters, and then the first 2 grandchildren were girls. And then we get to the grandsons. And wow, what a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have a daughter and a son, and I tried to keep it pretty equal on how I approach them. But it is different.
I tell you what, when I think about it, my greatest joy right now is watching my daughter's parent.
Oh, yes, that is a big joy for me. And watching my grandson, who's I think 17 months now, my daughter did not sleep till she was like 7. Like literally, she was up all night. And we won't get into that whole thing, but my grandson doesn't really like to sleep too much in the middle of the night. And
it's feeling familiar to you, is it?
Yes, it is. And my daughter is exhausted. And I'm like, honey, I know.
Yeah.
I know. At 2 years old, I taught my daughter, I'm going to date myself right now, how to put the VCR tape movies herself in, turn everything on in our bedroom. I locked the door from the inside so she couldn't get out. And I just let her watch movies all night because I couldn't.
Because you needed to sleep.
And my husband at that time was traveling all the time. So I was home alone by myself and working full time.
And when you think about that now, when you think about that now in the screen time and this and that and the other thing, and I mean, your daughter is a brilliant mind.
Yeah. And really would like to sleep.
But when you think about all the things that we did or thought was right with our kids that we could do, or that's what's so different to watch it now. And it's not, I think every generation says this, like, oh, I can't believe we never had that. We never had that. It's just fascinating to me. All the apps and all the tools and all the things. And it comes down to, if you have the love and have the nurturing and have the caring, chances are good things are going to turn out okay.
Absolutely. You're right. And the funny thing
despite our best efforts.
We had a conversation, my grandson, she gives him milk in a bottle just to kind of soothe him because he hasn't found anything to be soothed with. And I said, yep, that was your juicy box in the middle of the night. And my daughter, Shelby, goes, God, it's amazing my teeth are so good. I said, I know, what was I thinking? Like giving her orange juice and apple juice as a juicy box in the middle of the night? Like, how I was just thinking I needed to sleep.
Yeah.
That's all I was thinking.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was back to your point. But anyway.
We are fortunate. We are fortunate. Well, and I think the thing that is so incredible to me, and we'll talk to Robin about this, and is really the tools that are available. So you can get ahead of, I do think our kids are learning quicker. They're reading faster. Their comprehension is different, So there are I don't know if generationally things improve. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know what I'm saying, but
I don't know. I'm watching my granddaughter. You have more than I do, and they're a little older, so you're kind of a little ahead of me. But it's amazing her vocabulary.
Yes.
I mean, I spent the afternoon with her yesterday. I could have been talking to anyone my age.
Yes.
The conversations we have. I mean, I told you before we got on that I thought I lost my favorite sunglasses. Mm-hmm. And I was having a moment in the car while I was driving with her. And she is going, Aunt Coco, you will find them. How did you lose them? It was like she was being logical to me. So, and yeah, I did find them. But
yeah, the absolute ability to communicate is amazing. And I look at, if there are red flags, the ability to realize that and seek help. And that's where I think Robin is so beautifully going to share with us her path, right? So she's been a licensed family therapist for more than 34 years. So she's currently working with teenagers and adults living with depression, anxiety, and ADHD. She's also a certified ADHD life coach, helping clients create systems of success personally and professionally. She's also co-founder and executive director of Mental Health Navigators, a national nonprofit online community support and resource group, helping parents find resources for children experiencing mental health issues. And there is so much that is going on in these kids' lives. I think the busier we are, the more social media, all of these things come in. When is it right? When is it right to give them? All of those things we'll want to talk about. And I think that we'll bring it back to lessons from our parents, from our mothers particularly, mothers, grandmothers.
And I have to talk to her because we realized that her mother and my mother were very good friends. Now, isn't that a small world?
That's a small world. Well, somehow, 6 degrees of separation.
I know. When you told me that I'd like to have Robin Livingston Richter on, I'm like, wait a minute, what? Wait, that last name, like her mom. Mm-hmm. I learned lessons from her mother.
There you go. Well, let's talk to Robin. Robin Livingston Richter, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, happy to have you here. Now, I'm trying to remember, I'm trying to go back 5 minutes in my memory banks. What did you call your grandma?
Bubby Ada.
Bubby Ada. I'm like, Bubblicious. I couldn't remember. I'm like, Bubby Ada. And you remember her, Bubby Ada?
I do.
You two go way back.
Yes. And I was the oldest in my family, and she was the baby in hers, and we both came from families of 3 girls.
Oh, that's probably a podcast in and of itself.
Yeah. And
lot of
she
dynamics.
just reminded me that her oldest sister used to babysit us. But she probably babysat more of my two younger sisters than me.
Because of course you didn't need sitting.
Well, the age difference would have been...
Lisa, you have been in charge since you came out of the womb, I'm thinking.
Kind of. Some of it wasn't because I wanted to.
Robin, when you meet someone and tell them what you do, what do you tell them?
So I'm a therapist and I'm a ADHD life coach. I do both. And then people usually tell me their story, whether it be that they have depression, anxiety, ADHD, or their neighbor does, or a family member does. And so then I listen to their story. And we have a conversation, and it's always interesting to me. I love hearing people's stories. So that's what I tell them about what I do.
Do you find that there's a lot that people think they're the only ones feeling this way and they're not?
Yes, people feel very alone and isolated in whatever they are, living with, experiencing, struggling with, facing, trying to manage.
You're hearing about mental health more now. Do you feel that the support is there more for people now more than ever? Or do you feel that there's still such a gap because of all the external influences coming in on, the social media, for one?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that there's more awareness about mental health and that it's part of who we are. We're whole, WHOLE, and so that is, how we show up in the world physically, emotionally, spiritually, and lots of other, areas that I didn't mention. But I think there's a bigger awareness about how mental health is impacting us. How it's, in some ways impacting us, driving us, interfering in our lives.
Talk about interfering.
So many of the clients that I work with will call me and say they want to improve their quality of life. And I always ask, what does that mean? And they say, they want to be doing more of something, but that their mental health is impacting them. So it could be socially. They want to be with friends more. They want to meet more people, but they have social anxiety, which prevents them from having conversations and showing up authentically.
I can relate to that.
You feel that way beyond being an introvert?
No, but I can relate to that, especially in my younger years. I wasn't the person that maybe attended a lot of parties because I didn't want to throw myself into the room and feel like I had to talk to everybody. I was the person that came to a party and then sat in the back and found one or two people to talk to, and then I quietly left. Mm-hmm. So I can relate to that.
So is it because that's what you desired, more one-on-one conversations, or is it because you were overwhelmed in a group?
Overwhelmed in a group.
Interesting. I love the clarification of that. Really, that's what it is delving into the difference, because in some cases, if it's what you desire, then that's healthy.
Absolutely. And in sessions with my clients, I will always ask them to unpack what they're talking about, because what means something, to me might be something different to them. So I know what my anxiety is about, but it might be different for them. And so I always ask people to unpack it. What does that mean?
Now, so go back. When did you know that this is what you wanted to do in your life?
Yeah, great question. So I was that child on the playground that was always aware of other kids that didn't have someone to play with or someone to sit with at lunch or someone to sit with on the bus. And it always bothered me. I would go home and I would really be preoccupied with the loneliness that those children must be feeling. Then as a teenager, sort of moving fast forward from child to teenage life, I became very, very social, but I struggled academically. like really, really struggled to the point where I was shamed by teachers, and I was told I wasn't good enough, and told that I just maybe should think about an alternative to mainstream schooling. Until a teacher approached me, and I remember this in 10th grade. He approached me and said, "Can I talk to you?" And I was really nervous, thinking, am I in trouble?
Yeah.
And he said, I want to talk with you. And he said, I know that you have more ability than you are showing. I know that you're capable of so much more, and I'd really, really like you to start believing in yourself, because I believe in you.
Oh.
And it was in that moment that I started to think, wow, I can do this. Fast forward, I decided to go to undergraduate college and pursue a degree in social work, because I knew that I really liked working with people. And I had great internships. I did internships in the legal system and the political system and, day treatment programs and so forth. And then I decided I like it so much, I'm going to get my graduate degree. Like, who would have thought? I remember my parents being very supportive of me, but going, oh my gosh. And so I got my my graduate degree, my master's degree in social work, thinking I was going to do more administration work and sort of manage clinics and so forth. Well, I was, 19 years old, 20 years old, and nobody wanted to hire someone in administration. And so I was offered, and it was through a lot of opportunities, a 2-week position at Fairview University Medical Center on their adolescent inpatient program. And I remember that door shutting on the inpatient unit, and my supervisor said to me, so have you done something like this before? And I'm like, never. I don't even know what I'm doing. I loved what I did so much, and they asked me after 2 weeks if I'd be interested in being a full-time therapist at Fairview. So talk about imposter syndrome. I'm like, I'm 21 years old or however old I was. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I really tried to talk my way out of it, but you know what? It just all came together, and I was starting to live in passion and purpose and thriving in what I was doing.
Kind of like the podcast. You were nervous about the podcast, and you're going to end up loving it. See?
You could start your own podcast.
Maybe you will start your own podcast.
I love that.
Maybe you and Sam could do a podcast together. With the two of you, I feel like you'd be unstoppable.
I love that. So can I keep going with how I...
Yeah, please.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, but I love that. But I think, so one of my points in talking today is how people in our lives, throughout our lives, will stop us and say, I believe in you.
What was that teacher's name? Do you remember?
Mr. Lukey.
Mr. Lukey, if you're out there and you ever hear this, bravo.
You went to Golden Valley High School, right?
I went to Robbinsdale High School. Both my sisters went to
Oh, that's right. You
Blake.
went to Robbinsdale, right? And I went to Carl Sandburg and Armstrong.
Yeah, and Mr. Lukey knew my mom from the Guthrie, and so that's why he also wanted to approach me, because he's like, I know your mom, and I know that you can do more than you're doing. Anyways, so at about the age of 34-ish, I was a parent of very young children. I really started to struggle with my own focus and my own just impulsivity and distractibility. And a colleague of mine at the time was telling me about her ADHD, and everything she talked about, all her symptoms, traits, I thought, that's me. And I remember going home and talking to my husband, who said, oh my gosh, you don't have ADHD. You're too successful for that, or you're too smart, or you're too this. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go get evaluated, because I really think that this is what's going on. I was evaluated, I had it, and I remember the clinician telling me, ADHD has nothing to do with intelligence. Mm-hmm. It's how your brain is wired. And it was the first time that someone had told me, it's not that you can't, it's that you can, but your brain is wired differently. And I'm going to show you how to manage your symptoms. And for me, that was such a breakthrough. So fast forward several years, I really liked that I knew about myself that I had ADHD because I knew all my life until that point that something was like just off, and I always thought something was wrong with me. But what I found out from this clinician is no, something's right with you, and we're going to help you.
And I love that change right there, right? Because if we think we have a diagnosis that's something bad, but it's not. It's something to allow you to know more about yourself, and then you can adjust to use that for good.
Exactly. And I do tell my clients that story quite often because I work with people who are across the lifespan. I mean, I have some clients who are actually in their 80s, and they asked me, is it too late? And I said, it's never too late to learn more about yourself. Like ever, ever, ever. It's never, ever too late. And I think that's a really important message. So, okay, so fast forward. Do you want to keep hearing this?
Yes.
Oh, okay, well, I don't know.
We'll stop you if you're too much.
Will you?
Yeah,
Okay.
we will, I promise.
Have you listened to our podcast? Have you listened to Katie? Keep going.
Okay, that's so funny. Okay, so then fast forward. My kids were growing up. My husband was traveling a lot. I felt so alone. And that sort of good enough narrative was starting to come back. Like, are you a good enough parent? And can you really do this? And that imposter syndrome, like, what are you doing? You don't even know what you're doing. And then I started to develop body image issues and self-doubt and low self-esteem. I was just struggling with my self-worth. And this went on for quite some time. And my husband one day came home from travel. The house was a mess, and our kids were fine. Of course, I always, made sure I took care of them. And he said to me in a really gentle way, I'm going to start crying because this was so meaningful, but he said to me, Robin, I love you so much, but I'm really having a hard time being in a relationship with you when you're in a relationship with an eating disorder. And it was the first time someone had said to me that I had an eating issue. I had body image issues. And he said, so I really want you to think long and hard about what you want to do about this. So a couple months later, I decided I am going to do some intense therapy, and I did an assessment at Melrose, and I was admitted into their partial program. So 5 days a week, 6 hours a day. I was so scared and so nervous. I remember crying like every day. And I have to tell you, it was the best decision I ever made. I learned so much about myself. And I am who I am because of that experience.
Thank you for sharing that,
Yeah.
Robin. That's
amazing.
amazing to
actually
go
also
through.
know a couple other people that went through that experience as a much older adult with an eating food. They were both addicted to food, and it changed their life too.
And so my message to all the listeners, it's never too late. Again, finding out who you
Find out
are.
what your needs are.
And so when you asked about obstacles that get in people's way, I would say obstacles are those things that we're not talking about, that we're not acknowledging, right? That we're not doing something about. So after that, and I'll go really quickly here, Sam connected me with a really good friend of his who's a life coach, and I really didn't want to work with her initially, and then it became like an amazing experience. I learned so much about myself from Michelle and life coaching, and I decided, you know what, this is what I want to add to my therapy practice. I want to do coaching. I want to work with people to help them not only where they're at, but how to move forward. And she did all these strength finders assessments with me, and she taught me about my gifts and how to maximize, just what I was good at. Because for so long, I was focused on what am I struggling with. And a lot of people with ADHD don't realize they have strengths because they're so used to overcompensating for their struggles. So when they find out they have strengths, it's like, really? I didn't know that.
And then they can focus on those. Then you're learning the strategies to be able to focus on what your strengths are. I'm really taking this in because I've not been diagnosed, but we joke about it, that it's very clear that, to Lisa anyway, not that I have ADHD, but the
you-
things that you're talking about that you went through and the strength to find the resources. And I think that's such a beautiful message. And having that, and when you talk about the gentle way that Sam approached you, that, and it sounds like what you've done is you've found people who do what that teacher did for you. They support you and they
I love that. And
lift you
believe
up
in you.
and believe in you.
Yeah. Yeah. I go back to when I was a child, as I talked about earlier, about just really wanting to help other people. Like, I love helping other people. And so for me, this all came together. And as Brene Brown says, when we talk about our stories, it gives other people permission to talk about theirs.
Right.
And so I do share my story with clients when it's appropriate,
Yeah.
because it gives them permission then to share theirs.
And interesting enough, as I was listening to you, with what I do for a living, and it's, let's call it just clothes, right? But when I have to get ready in the morning or I have to get dressed, I get more pleasure out of helping other people than I do myself. So people think, oh, Lisa, what are you wearing to this? And what are you wearing to that? And did you think about this? And I'm like, no, I haven't thought about it. I mean, if I'm doing what I teach, I have it in my closet. But what my point is that I get pleasure out of also helping people in a very different way than you do to feel good about their best version of themselves. And that comes through clothes for me, sort of. I mean, it is clothes. That's how we start. But when somebody feels good about what they look and how they're wearing and what brand they want to represent, the rest of the day and all the skills that you would give them click in.
1,000%.
And so I understand that. And I understand for me, I'm not hiding behind what I do, but like it helps me every day when I can help somebody else.
I love that for you, and I think what you are doing, I mean, I think of you as a healer at heart, because as healers, we do want other people to feel good about themselves.
Yeah, that's my goal.
Isn't that the bottom line? We want other people to show up authentically.
Yeah, and I help a lot of very high profile business women and, break them down when they're not working, right? It's a big, mess, right? So if I can have that little teeny part in making them feel good about their day, for me, that's helpful. So.
And your clients, similar to your clients, are people who have sought out
they've
help in areas that they want help in, which there's not a shame in that. That's just they're helping themselves along the path to be, as we talk about all the time, the best versions of themselves. We don't want everyone to be the same. We have similar thoughts, and how many times have we talked about imposter syndrome with every single person
all the time.
practically,
All the
right?
time.
And all of those things that we all share, but we are all so unique.
And yet so the same.
And so helping people find their path to their best self is just such a noble, beautiful.
I love that. And we're all doing that.
Yeah.
And I go back to a podcast that I recommend for everyone. Julia Louise-Dreyfus did a podcast, Wiser Than Me. I love the name. And she's had several very famous women on who are over the age of 80. And when she gets them on, they talk about their story, right? And every single one of these women have a very big story to tell. Even though you see them as this very famous, successful actress, right? We got Jane Fonda, Carol Burnett, Diane von Furstenberg. I mean, there are so many that I've listened to, but they all have a story, and they all started here, and they worked their way here, and guess what? They're still figuring themselves out. And so I think your advice is the best advice. Like, I hope for me until the day I die, I'm still trying to figure myself out, because that's what I was put on earth to do.
Yes. And be who you are.
be who I am, but sometimes that I might not still know who I really am.
Is it figuring yourself out, or, and I don't know the answer to this, honestly, but as I'm listening to you talk, I'm wondering, is it figuring yourself out, or is it continued learning? You're a person who is continually learning. And I think that's something we all share in common as we're sitting here talking. We want to know more. We want to know better. We want to do better. And it's not necessarily figuring ourselves out. The core of who you are, like I said earlier, you came out in control early on.
True, right. But I just think that if people stay stagnant and just do the same thing every day, and as we retire, like someone the other day said, Lisa, when are you retiring? Because I can't do this without you. I'm like, retiring? I haven't thought about retiring. What are you talking about? Like, that doesn't even go in my brain, right? And so I just think that, and this is something I learned from my grandma and my mom, actually, if we keep having experiences, this podcast, meeting you again, but like having guests, you know, and each person we've had on, I have learned something from. For me. Not for anyone else, but for me. And there are podcasts that we've recorded that I have listened to more than 2 or 3 times. Because things that they have said, I need to kind of go back and think about it in a different way. And so I just think that everyone needs to keep moving on. Whether it's reading books, whether it's taking an art class that you've never taken, whether for me it's having Katie have me go to all these social events, which is very hard for me. She knows that. I mean, it's a big struggle for me to show up at a social event.
Dipping the toe in the water.
But I've done it with Katie now, 3 times in the last 6 months. That's a big deal for me.
And every time you walk out with great conversations.
I've talked to more people each time.
Yeah. And I think that's it. So now go back to your relationship with your husband. Going through and prioritizing yourself and doing what you needed to do. How did that play out in your relationship with your husband and your relationship with your family?
Well, so you asked me, I don't know if it was the other day or maybe in a question form, about life balance, something with balance. So for me, I think that it really put more balance into my world, but into our family's world. And, it created more collaboration between Sam and myself. I was showing up as the roles that I wanted in life, as a partner, as a parent, as a friend, as a daughter, as a sister, all of that I was showing up. Yeah. So you asked me a question, and I'm reminded of it as we're talking right now, about wins.
Yeah.
Can I go into that?
Yeah.
Or not? Okay. So what was the question?
Well, we all come from a little bit of competitive. Lisa says she's not competitive. I think she's competitive, but in a good way. I think.
I don't try to be competitive.
Correct. But you like to win. When you're playing golf, you like to win. You like to do well.
I don't care about winning. I like to make a putt. Oh, let's be clear on that.
Right. We'll be arguing this one for a while, but anyway, I don't think but we all have that background.
Okay, so I'm just gonna talk a little bit about what Lisa was just talking about. Maybe my words may not land with you, so tell me what you think. But I try to think of victories versus wins, because I play a lot of pickleball, and people will always say, so how many games did you win today? And I say, I don't know how many games I won today, but I had so much fun. Boom, that's a victory for me, because that's what I want to do, is I want to have fun. I met someone new today. I want to, build relationships, connect with people, find meaning in, stories. So I think about victories. Victories are not, externally validated. They're not about comparison. They're not about, sort of win-lose, but they're about our own personal goals. So today I had a victory. I have a really good friend whose daughter died by suicide 10 years ago. And my friend's name is Tony. And Her victory every day is, I got out of bed today. She said, Robin, that's a victory.
Yeah.
And it's an understandable.
I can't
And it's an
imagine.
understandable one. But I have clients who struggle with eating disorders who will say, you know what, today I ate what I wanted to. Today I didn't step on the scale. I didn't live my life in numbers today. And so I really talk about personal victories because it's a step toward what they want to do. So you reminded me of it when you talked about I had a putt.
Yeah, and in reference to what Katie said, I am not competitive with other people. I'm really competitive with myself.
Yes.
That's where I'm competitive.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
And you
Yeah.
know that being competitive with yourself is actually a strength?
Good.
You push yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that too.
It can be, yeah, I'm very competitive with myself, my brain. Lucy, we named our brain when we went to Amanda Brinkman's live event, and I highly recommend you go to one of hers. But she talked about naming her brain. So Katie took me and I went, a room of 250 people. I talked to people. I did so many things there. But on the way home, I said, Katie, I got my name for my brain. And she goes, what is it? I said, it's Lucy. And you said...
Great, I'll be Ethel.
She'll be Ethel. Because,
I love that. I love
because,
that.
like,
My brain
that
is
was one of my
Ethel.
favorite shows. I love Lucy. Like, I loved her because she's everything I'm not, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I do talk to Lucy a lot now.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And that's having connection with yourself, right? Instead of dividing or, I'm not competitive. No, you know what? You have a competitive way about you, and that's okay. That's a beautiful strength.
Robin, how much of what we're talking about is difficult for people to understand their strengths, find their way? We've had the privilege of growing up. We're all in our 60s. I'm divulging ages.
I'm celebrating.
Okay, I do too.
Oh,
okay, thank you. I'm
Honestly,
like, oh my gosh, I never
I thought you said another word, another S word.
So we were raised without the social media, without a camera in our faces, going to parties in college and things like that, right? It was a different time. So we've been able to evolve and become ourselves without this, what is going on in the world now. So what do you see happening with children, especially now, that have this social media and this thinking that that's real life, or that's how people are supposed to live, or how they're supposed to present or show up? So I guess my question is, how do you help people overcome that challenge?
Do you notice my silence?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
I think this is really tough. I think
Yeah.
this is really, really tough because I think social media for many people has become a friend. I teach my clients mindfulness and how to be mindful, pay attention with intention, and be in the moment and be present. And social media, is it helping you be present? I mean, if you want to spend some time on it, are you making intentions about that? Are you having some sort of timeline around it? Or is it taking you away from what you're doing? So I think it is a really important question. And I go back to that question when I have a client say, I need to figure out my social media, life. I'll ask them, what does that mean?
Yeah, I would have to believe in a lot of times it's that I'm spending far too much time before I know it. An hour is gone or 2 hours is gone.
And some of my clients are telling me there's safety with social media, because they would rather lose themselves in social media than say something wrong to somebody or do something wrong. I'm just telling you what they're thinking in terms of their, emotional safety. That there's something. What's the new? I know AI stands for artificial intelligence, or
Yeah,
AI.
artificial intelligence.
Yeah, but there's a new term that's being used in the mental health world. AI is standing for artificial intimacy.
Oh.
And so what does that mean to people?
Interesting.
Because you can ask ChatGPT or whatever, just about anything. You can say, I'm struggling with this, and there will be strategies. You literally could spend your entire life without interacting with a person.
So I don't know if you've heard Sam talk about AI. Mm-hmm. You have?
I have. I got to see him.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's fascinating.
So one of the things that he talks about, because I was really against going to hear about AI, is that AI will never, ever, ever substitute empathy. That is something that we have as human beings that will never, ever, ever be taken away. So when I work with clients who are receiving information from ChatGPT or they're receiving advice from, AI, we talk about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, ChatGPT is not saying, and how does that make you feel?
Right.
Actually, the funny thing is, I was using it the other day to come up with a card for somebody because I'm not a great writer. And it did come back saying, do you feel emotional about this or not emotional about this?
Oh.
And I said, not emotional. I need to be more emotional. And so it rewrote it for me.
Wow.
Interesting.
Maybe it just knew. I don't know. Maybe it was how I typed it, how I asked the question.
But how did it know that? That's so interesting.
So it's funny you say that because it just happened to me literally 2 days ago. Because I wanted to write like a special little message for a friend of mine, but I'm not good with coming up with the flow of the words. Mm-hmm. So ChatGPT has been very helpful. And it said that to me, and I'm like, whoa, I didn't even think of it like that.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I think here again, it's a tool, right? So
it wasn't
as
really
Sam
my
will
words,
say
to be
too,
honest with you. At the end,
Sure.
I had to. It gave me a good outline, and then I filled it in.
But it helped with getting you started.
Yes,
and it helped with
it did.
organizing your thoughts. And
yes.
so that is for great use.
For me, yes.
And I think that's it. You look at the tools to help you, but if you're going too far down the rabbit hole, and that's the other thing, and we've seen this happen. Look, there's all sorts of things that you can become addicted to, right? Mm-hmm. And the computer and what's going on is just another one. So understanding and having some strategies and having places to go for that. Mm-hmm. I'm going to throw a curveball at you because we've talked about it a little bit. In all of your studying on ADHD and whatnot, how much has hormonal health come into it? Or what are you learning about that now? Are you putting any connections together?
I wish Kathy Norton was here.
Yeah, Kathy Norton. I think that would be a conversation well worth having.
She was a guest on the podcast. Yeah. You knew that?
Yeah. I would love to have that conversation with Kathy because I have some ideas about it, but I would not say that's my specialty, but it's really Kathy's. Right. And I would love to be able to learn more from her.
Well, it niggles in my mind, even when you were telling your story, is that at about 34, your children were small, so you had, so your hormones were doing different things post-childbirth, and you're finding out these things are now coming up to deal with. And so you just really wonder how much, it's a question we're not going to answer, but it's
that was
worth
a very
having
good question.
Podcast.
That's a very good question.
I think that's a really good question. I will tell you that I mainly work with girls and women with ADHD, and so many of them are either underdiagnosed or misdiagnosed. Doctors think that they have anxiety, or they think that they have seasonal affective disorder, or they think they have something else. And I do wonder if there are, is there a hormonal component to it?
I would hope with everything that's coming out now and being learned. Dr. Kelly Casperson talking about this tremendously. She has the book "You Are Not Broken," which I think
I just got yesterday.
Yeah, and so I think there's just so much more that goes into it because these are the things that we as women, as we continue to learn, especially those of us who have daughters and sons who are going to
be with
daughters.
That's right. Yeah,
we owe it to continuing to push that learning.
Right. So for the listeners, I would say that a really great resource for ADHD is called the Attitude Magazine. It's an online magazine, ADDITUDE, and it has everything in Well, it has everything you want to know about ADHD. So if you are interested in learning more about ADHD and hormones, just put that in the search, and Attitude will find articles about it.
That Attitude, it's just, you put the Attitude magazine in the search bar. And
It's
that'll bring you
a
there.
great online resource.
I will definitely be on that.
Do you feel that medication with therapy is helpful for that?
For ADHD?
Yeah. I know that's a big question.
No,
that's a loaded
it's a
question.
great question. So as an ADHD life coach, I teach strategies and I teach, systems of success. But many of my clients are on medication, and research does show that medication and therapy or coaching is really helpful in managing ADHD.
Okay. Yeah, because I think people struggle with that, especially for younger kids. Do I start them on something? Do I not? Do I, I've heard many times back and forth, and I think that you have to be comfortable with trying it.
I agree. I think that medication, when it works, it really does change people's lives.
Yeah.
And
But you have to find the right medication.
You have to find the right medication. So another tidbit for listeners, if you haven't taken the gene test, GENE test, it's a great way to learn what ADHD medication would be best for your body chemistry.
Oh, really?
Or depression or anxiety. It's literally taking a Q-tip at the doctor's office, and they take a swab of your saliva, and they send it into a lab.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No, gene tests.
And like pediatricians have it, and and then what does it spit out? I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, no. So it tells you it has a red light, yellow light, and a green light. So red light are medications that are not aligned with your body chemistry. Yellow light is, this could work, but be mindful of possible side effects. Green light is, yep, this is a go. These medications are good for your body chemistry. Gene test.
And is that something that's covered under insurance for people listening?
Yeah, great question. Insurance should be covering some of it, if not all of it. If it's something that you want to talk to your doctor about, that's a great question to ask.
Interesting. I didn't know anything about it, but that I don't have young kids anymore, but I guess adults could do it too.
Adults can do it too.
Okay. It's very good to know. Any other tidbits for people that maybe they don't have somebody like you saying, the online magazine and this are two things that I didn't know anything about, so.
Okay, tell me again, it's the gene test?
It's called the Gene Site, GENE site. So if you Google it, you'll learn more about it, but it's an easy way to find out what medication is right for your body. ADHD, depression, and anxiety medications.
Okay, good to know. Robin, when you're not working, what's your favorite passion?
I love music, so we go to a lot of tribute bands, and I play pickleball a lot.
And you and Kathy Norton play at the same place, but you haven't played each other yet.
Exactly. I can't wait to play Kathy.
That'll happen.
See, I'm afraid to play pickleball because I'm not very coordinated, and I know that if I get out there, I will trip and fall and break my wrist.
Well, please don't play pickleball then. You
My
are very
family's also
specific
telling
about
me
what will
that's
happen.
probably a good idea, Mom.
That you don't? Mm-hmm. But you golf beautifully.
I don't run around when I play golf.
Well, true, but you have to walk.
So
You're uncoordinated.
Lisa,
I did not know
thought the
this.
same thing before I played pickleball. There's no way that I can do this. I'm not coordinated. I'm not athletic. All of that. It is so fun. It's social.
No, remember that social piece? That doesn't.
Okay, but I play in social leagues, not competitive leagues.
No, but
yes.
that wouldn't get me
real.
to play pickleball.
The non-social
I'd be
member
the one
of
that would
podcast.
show up when I'm supposed to play, and then leave.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Would you try it?
No.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, I don't know. Maybe. I just, yeah.
so our next event's not going to be a pickleball event?
No.
Shoot, I was just about to invite you to a fundraiser
No fundraiser
for pickleball.
There's two no's there. Fundraiser and pickleball? Are you kidding me?
She said fundraiser, F-U-N.
Yeah,
fundraiser.
Yeah. That's how you see it, Katie. Okay. All right,
so
let's
funny.
move on. Let's move on.
All right, what do we want to know? Robin, I feel like I have learned, like I'm just taking in everything that you're telling me. I feel like I have things to research, things to look into, things to be better at.
I love that.
I agree. I think I had like a therapy session.
I feel like I had a therapy session in such a good way. I feel energized.
Yes.
I also think that women getting together is such a gift because we really all learn from each other and we grow from each other.
That's for sure.
So do we model our mothers when we're with our women friends?
Maybe a little bit I do.
Or
My
our
mom was
grandmothers?
my mom was an introvert. Or is an introvert. Yeah. I try to model my grandmother every day.
I love that. Do you think about her?
Every day.
Every day, yeah.
What a beautiful, it's beautiful to have that kind of a relationship. I know we're all getting
Do you know what?
emotional
You know
about
what? That is beautiful. Like
It is
truly,
so
like it's
beautiful.
I
so
think about her
beautiful.
every single day. And she's been gone for a long time.
But she's always with you, like always.
Totally.
Right? Always.
Even in the funny things.
I love that. The funny
And
things.
she had
the
quite
sad
a life
things, the hard
story.
things.
Like, she had a life story.
I'd love to learn about her.
Is this the grandma that had the deli?
No, that's my dad's side.
That's your dad's side. Okay.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear about your grandmother.
Anyway,
sometime.
yeah. No,
well,
she was.
this has to be the first of many get-togethers. I mean, truly, I think you talk about the community we build of women friends, and that expands over time. You know, we have room for growth and capacity to take on more and learn more and meet new people and add that in. I mean, I still remember the first time we met and just how, full of life you seemed to me. And I think you're very similar to me in that we're married to men who are very engaging and wonderful, but also a little more serious. And we're kind of spinning around, and so
I can
we
be
bring the
included
fun.
in that.
Please.
I think that's
I like
exactly
inclusion.
true
I
too.
do. Okay, so we're all in it together.
We're all in it together. I think that's the beauty of it too.
I love that.
And even in the big groups of people, when you meet big groups of people, what's great about it is you connect with someone and have a meaningful conversation, even if it's just one
I
person.
scope the room and decide who I think I can have that
Yes.
conversation with.
And what do you base it on?
That's a good question.
Great question.
They're nonverbal. It's never about what they're wearing. People, because the first thing someone does when they come up to me is like, "I'm so sorry, I didn't know I was going to see you. I don't like what I'm wearing." I'm like, I haven't even looked. Like, that's my job.
Care. Yeah.
Like, I don't care.
That's not
I
on
don't
your
judge
radar.
people.
Yes.
Personally, when I'm out, on what people are wearing.
That's so interesting.
It's their nonverbal.
So, go ahead, Katie.
No, I was just going to say, bringing it back to gifts.
Oh, okay. So one of the things that I want to talk about, you asked about social media and a couple other things. But at the end of the day, I count meaningful moments. And that's how I measure my day. Did I have meaningful moments today? How many did I have? It could be a meaningful conversation. It could be a meaningful exchange at a grocery store. It could be a meaningful observation at pickleball. And so it reminds me of my mom, because my mom always created meaning. Wherever she went, she made meaning out of everything. And so I'm reminded of that song from Rent, Seasons of Love, and how do we measure? And, like the song talks about we measure it like
I'm not going to say.
sunsets and coffees and all that. And I would say for my mom, and it's passed on to me, it's meaningful connections. So at the end of the day, my husband's an achiever, which is also a strength. And so he'll count how many things he's gotten done in a day, and it's never enough, right? And for me, I count meaningful moments. So this has been really meaningful.
This has been
Me
so
too.
special. What a gift. Truly, what a gift. What a gift. Thank you.
And the fact that we could have we reconnected and it came through Katie. Like,
I love that.
yeah.
Well, I think everything leads back to St. Louis Park or Golden Valley or Roseville. I think it's like the world is swirling around those places, and then all good things come from there.
But Katie, you are such a bridge. I mean, you just bridge connections. And
Thank you. I enjoy
You're
it.
very,
I love
she's very
seeing
good.
it.
She's very good at it.
I love
and it's
seeing
very authentic.
Oh, totally. Yeah, she doesn't even know she's doing it half the time.
Oh my gosh, girls!
Well,
Stop talking
that's
about me. I'm
a
right here.
gift, right? That's a gift.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
This was
You
great.
are both.
This was
truly
really great.
Now,
Thank
we've got
you.
a couple things to do. We want to talk about your nonprofit, and then we want to talk about how people get a hold of you. Okay, so we're going to talk nonprofit first. You picked Bountiful Baskets Food Shelf, which is bountifulbasketfoodshelf.org. And this organization, I mean, we're coming into the holidays. Food insecurities are a real thing, and so I think this is beautiful. It is nourishing neighbors, inspiring hope, and supporting families on their road to self-sufficiency. That spoke to you.
It does speak to me. Yes. Beautiful.
Thank you.
They
Thank
do
you for
really
bringing
great
them up.
work.
And they're local to Minnesota, right?
Chaska.
They're in Chaska, yes. And again, bountifulbasketfoodshelf.org. And you can get all sorts of more information. Now, if people want to get a hold of you, how do they do that? Do you have a website?
Oh, I do.
Let's do your website.
Okay.
And then is there a contact you on the website?
There is.
All right.
I like that. Okay. So it's www.stigma2, like the number 2, stigma2strength.com.
Fantastic. I like that, stigma to strength.
Sam helped me with the name. We were very intentional about it because that's what I really believe. Well, we really believe that people do go from, Oprah Winfrey says it, from wounds to wisdom.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
good. Wounds to wisdom.
That's beautiful. Well, if you want more information on us, theviewinyourmirror.com. And social media, we've talked about it. We've picked on it a little bit. Are you involved in it as well? Do you have social media handles?
LinkedIn. Do you have anything that?
You use LinkedIn.
I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't really spend time on it.
Okay. Well,
But
we
I'm on
can-
Instagram
Instagram. As Robin Richter or Stigma to Strength?
as Robin Livingston Richter.
Robin. Yep, I have to remember to put Livingston in there. Okay, fantastic. All right, we want to thank a couple other people. We want to thank Beam Light Sauna in St. Louis Park, and we want to thank Sweet Ivy. They, along with our presenting sponsor, Rustica Bakery, allow us to continue to do what we do. And we, for sure, want to thank you, Robin. You've really helped us have a new and different and more meaningful view in our own mirrors as we analyze ourselves. And it's not a scary proposition. It's really growth. So
It's supposed to make you feel good.
and it does make us feel good. And we want that. We want the view of what we see in our mirror to be reflective of what we're feeling inside. And you help so many people do that. So thank you for everything you do.
I love that. Keep shining.
Well, until next time.